If your items aren't selling, it's a pretty good chance that it's not the item most of the time, but the way you're pricing it. And here's the part I think we forget to talk about, and that is that pricing is different depending on what platform you are selling on. So I'm going to sell things with a different price on Poshmark than I would on Vinted, let's say. And I'll explain why as the video goes on. And I think once I fundamentally understood this, items started moving and I started selling more things. Every platform's a little bit different, but I'm going to tell you what I do to price these items so they actually sell, and maybe it'll help you a little bit. I have to tell you, I just stopped doing this video because I got this text and I want to go back to it because it's beautiful. So let me just tell you the story. I'm sorry. You can fast forward if you don't want to hear this cute story. So I was doing a live, but I do them on Facebook sometimes. So a live on Facebook, and I have like regulars who come on and shop. But at the end of this live, I had only sold one wallet. It was all bags, one wallet for $4 to a friend. And then at the end, someone came on and direct messaged me after it was over and told me what bag she wanted. So there were, I forget how many, maybe 10 or 11 of them. And I said, okay. So I was all excited. She gave me the prices on at least 7 of them. I looked up the other ones. I sent her the price with the shipping because, guys, I tried pirate ship for the first time. We'll talk about that on the next video. So, yeah, so I had it all ready and she didn't answer for like 2 or 3 days. And somebody else was asking me about a bag. And I'm like, well, somebody else has it, but I'm not sure. So I wrote her back and then I said, listen, I need to know. I hope this wasn't a scam, something like that. And within a couple of days, I heard from her. And it was just all a big misunderstanding. And as soon as she said it was okay, she paid me, so I knew she wasn't a scammer. And she even sent extra, and she just wrote this because she received it yesterday. She said, oh my gosh, Marion, my husband walked in with a box of happiness last night. My daughter and I are so happy. My daughter has already made her new to her bag her own within 10 minutes of opening the box. Thank you so much. You love getting things like that, especially from someone new who you didn't even know before. And now she'll become a customer because I think she got 11 bags for $90. And they were good bags. So, yeah. So, all right, let's get back to what we were talking about. So let's talk about why the prices on each platform are not one size fits all. That reason is because for your good and for the platform's good, you have to see First, you have to look up solds on that platform to see what the items are actually selling for on that particular platform. You can usually go by eBay the most, but I always look on the platform that I'm also selling on. So yeah, as I was saying, I think that some people think you could just price the same on all platforms. And it's not like that at all. And I wrote this down so that I can give you a breakdown of the platforms. Every platform has a different buyer, whether it's a different generation, I don't know, just a different buyer. On Poshmark, people expect to make offers, or they expect that if they like something, you're going to send them an offer. On eBay, people are comparing prices. On Depop, it's more about trends and style. So the same item is being seen by completely different people. Maybe some the same, but for the most part. And this is true because different marketplaces have different audiences and buying behavior. I know I cannot sell the same things on Depop that I could sell on any other. I'm trying to think, maybe one or two others, but not the same as I sell on Poshmark, at least not consistently, because it's so different. Then with these platforms, you have commissions versus no commissions or low commissions. And it's a real eye-opener because if you're not paying commissions, you can send better offers or put it up cheaper to begin with. But most of those platforms don't have great customer service. They still have customer service, but they don't have great customer service where, like with Poshmark, with the other owners, not the new ones, you knew you were going to get the best customer service. Or at least I did. I never, ever had a problem with customer service at Poshmark until this new time here. So on Poshmark, you're losing 20% or more if it's under $15. But it was, like I said, it was the customer service. Now, do I still think it's worth it? No. That's why I'm getting my whole Shopify store set up. So if you don't price higher, you're losing money on Poshmark. On other platforms like Vinted or sometimes Depop, the fees are way lower or even zero. So you can price lower and still make the same profit. So that's a big difference, guys. So some platforms shifted fees to buyers or reduced seller fees, but Poshmark still takes the #1 spot at charging the most. So here's the part. Here's the part. So here's the part that I feel like changed so much for me. On some platforms, people expect to negotiate. So if you price too low, you leave no room. And I definitely learned that with Poshmark. I learned that if I price higher and people like something, and then I go below what someone else would go below for taking off a discount, I make the sale. If that made any sense. So, yeah, if you leave it too low, no room to negotiate. So people really want that negotiation on Poshmark. So if the price is too high, they're going to scroll right past it. Poshmark buyers rarely pay full price. Offers are expected. Now, I should take a look because I look at graphs like every 3 months to see, and it's actually on Poshmark, I think, yeah, how many people just buy straight out, how many I sent offers to, or how many sent offers to me. And there are a few here and there of buyouts, but that's because right now I'm like closing things out. So that's the only reason why. So I think that the real strategy should be smart pricing equals cost plus market research plus what buyers will actually pay. And I got that from Flipify. And use sold comps, not listed prices. Use the solds because it can make such a big difference. Someone could be saying, going for a $200 and accept $130. So you want to make sure you do that or you're going to be overpricing. Most people are looking at the wrong numbers and it's costing them sales. They're looking at what people are asking instead of what things are actually selling for. And once I switched that, everything got easier. I stopped guessing, I stopped second guessing, and I started pricing things with a little bit more confidence, for sure. And the biggest shift, I stopped trying to force the same price everywhere because I realized that doesn't work at all and started working with the platforms instead of against them. At the end of the day, guys, pricing isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. Guys, one day I'm going to show you what goes on behind the scenes because I just had to stop. And because when my husband's walking by, I just like to shut it off and start over. But I've been waiting for quite a while, and it's just funny. All right, let's just go on. Where was I? So at the end of the day, pricing isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. Aware of where you're selling. Aware of who you're selling to. So who is your audience? Like on Depop, it's either younger people or more trendy people, more, what's the word? Not ethnic. Ethic? No. I don't know what the word is. But yeah, like specialties, like fairs and festival type things where you can sell anything on eBay. Clothes seem to sell better for most resellers. And, you know, you're getting a lot more people looking at it. So it's totally different. And, you know, just be aware of that. And like not where we hope it's going to sell, where it's really going to sell, because that does make a difference. And the right price in the wrong place will still sit. Yeah, even if it's something that will sell on somewhere and it's priced wrong. The right price on the right platform will sell most of the time. At least that's when things start moving. You're not doing it wrong. You just needed to see it a little bit differently. So guys, if this helped you at all, or if you enjoy content like this or my craziness, let me know which platform you resell on and your thoughts about it so you can share it with the audience. Comment down below because I'd love to have a talk about it. And if you ever want to talk about it live, just let me know. I appreciate you. Subscribe. Please, please. Is that a heart?